I'm not sure how many of you have ever received a voicemail from someone who has passed away, but it does happen more often than you might think. And sometimes those voicemails can reveal some really interesting things, like when you hear the voice of a loved one for the first time in decades. Or when you hear a celebrity voice that you never got to hear when they were alive. Or sometimes those voicemails can be incredibly creepy, like when you get a call from your dead grandma after she's been dead for years and buried at that. There are countless stories about people getting these types of calls, and there are even entire Reddit threads where people share their experiences with getting voicemails from people who are supposed to be dead. So with that said, here are some creepy voicemails that people received from the deceased. We'll start with this one from Reddit user Mr. Morality. I was living with my boyfriend in his childhood home, while his parents lived elsewhere in the same city. We were both in our early 20s. They had recently reconnected with an old family friend that they hadn't seen in years. They invited her over for dinner one night. She arrived alone, which was strange because I knew that she was married. A few days later, my boyfriend's mother called him saying that she had a dream about the woman who had visited, and that she dreamed that the woman had died suddenly of a heart attack in her sleep. My boyfriend's mom told us this in a matter-of-fact way, and then just went on with the conversation as if it was unweird to receive a premonition in your dream about someone's death. Both thought it was strange, but shrugged it off as just a dream. Then a few days later, the phone rang, and it was the woman who had visited us, asking for my boyfriend by name. She sounded fine. She said she was calling to see how he was doing. She had also called the day before and left a voicemail. Of course, we didn't listen to it until after she called and spoke with him directly. She sounded perfectly fine. She just wanted to say hi. My boyfriend was confused because if she had indeed had a heart attack, why would she be calling him? His mom said. She must have been lying about having a heart attack in her dream. Then my boyfriend's father called and asked her why she had called. She claimed that she had no idea what she was talking about and hung up. Then 2 weeks later, we received a call at around 3 a.m. It was her. She sounded panicked and said that she needed to speak with my boyfriend immediately. I could hear yelling in the background. She couldn't say anything before hanging up. Obviously, we didn't call back at 3 a.m. The next day, we got a call from the police telling us that a woman matching her description had been found dead in her home from a heart attack. They asked if we knew anything about her recent behavior, or if we knew of any health issues she may have been experiencing. Apparently, the police had been called to her home because her husband had found her dead, and he was extremely distraught and couldn't figure out how to dial 911 on the phone. To make things even weirder, the last time she called, the caller ID showed her name and number. But all of the times before that, the caller ID showed unknown. This is so wild. It's almost like she was trying to tell your boyfriend something. Did you end up finding out what she was trying to say? I don't think the police or the boyfriend's family were ever able to find out. It's unsolved to this day. Now here's another story from Reddit user Sassyfrass. In January of 2010, I received a call from an unknown number. I was in college at the time and rarely got calls from numbers I didn't recognize, so I picked up on the third ring. The voice on the other end was old and raspy. "Hello?" I asked. There was a long pause, and then the line disconnected. I assumed it was a wrong number. Later that day, I saw that I had received a voicemail from that same number. I listened, and the message was very short. All I could hear was heavy breathing, and then a muffled voice saying, "Goodbye." I figured it was just an automated message for a telemarketer or something, and deleted it without thinking much of it. About a week later, I received a call from my grandmother's number. When I answered, my aunt was on the other end of the line. "Do you know who just called you?" she asked. I told her about the call, and she responded, "That was so-and-so." "Yeah, that's Grandma's maiden name. I just buried her last week." Checked the voicemail, and it was still there. I called my dad, and he confirmed that his sister had died a week prior. This happened 11 years ago. Every time I hear a song that was popular when I was in college, I remember that call and wonder if she tried to call me again. I hope that if she is wherever they go when they die, she is at peace now. And here's one from Reddit user, Don't Look Back. Many years ago, I had an ex-boyfriend who shall be known as Mike. We were in high school. He was a year younger than me and broke up with me at the beginning of my senior year. I went on to date another guy that year and graduated. I eventually moved out of state to go to college. I didn't hear from Mike for several years. One day, I was going through old photos of mine and came across a box filled with Mike's CDs that exes had given me throughout the years. Among them was a CD that was obviously burned by Mike. Since it was homemade, I put it in my CD player, just out of curiosity to see what kind of music he had given me. As it turns out, he had recorded a bunch of songs that I used to like onto this CD. About a minute into listening, I heard a song that I didn't recognize. I stopped the CD and rewound the player to try to hear what song it was so I could look it up. I realized that it was actually a recording of Mike singing. I stopped the CD again and waited for it to start playing again. The CD began to play the same song he had just recorded, and I started to cry. The song was titled I Miss You and was basically about how much he missed me and how much he loved me. The most disturbing part was that he recorded this song and burned the CD 18 months before he died in a car accident. That is so sad. I can't imagine how devastating that would be, to find out that someone died right after they recorded a song for you, especially one that is so heartfelt. If I were you, I would hold on to that CD forever. It sounds like a really precious keepsake. But that was the end of the list. So now I want to hear from you. You ever gotten a voicemail from someone who was supposed to be dead? If you have, then let me know down in the comments below. And if you enjoyed this video, then check out the others that I have about creepy phone calls. Thanks for watching.